All right. Looks like everybody's seated. Thank you for coming out. My name is Mr. Mannering, Scoutmaster 844. I'd like to welcome everybody to this Eagle Court of Honor for James Craig Reynolds. It's been 9 months since Troop 844's last Court of Honor. We've had a good year. Before we begin, I'd like to invite Mark Allison, pastor of First Baptist Church of Delaware, to lead the invocation.
I also want to offer you a welcome to our church. It is such a privilege and an honor for us and a joy to celebrate with James this achievement of achieving the Eagle Scout. Welcome to our church. I want to mention that in case you do happen to need restrooms, they're right around the corner. You'll just go step into the next building over this way, and you'll find one of them on the left. And if you turn to the right, there's 2 more of them on the right, so you'll be taken care of. And to be sure you know that after the ceremony is over, there will be a reception, and it will be downstairs. And I think that you'll probably find that pretty easily too, because when you walk through the doors to the right, there are stairs. Just follow them down, and you'll make your way there. Thank you for coming. Let us have a word of prayer. Dear God, we are grateful for this opportunity today to celebrate with James Reynolds his Eagle Scout accomplishment. We thank you for the Scouts and for the work that they do and the role that they play in the lives of young people and in our community. We are grateful to have this opportunity here to share this time of celebration, and we ask that you bless it, and that in some ways each of us will take the challenge and the commitments that it took to achieve an Eagle Scout award and make them a part of our lives too. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Will everyone please rise for the presentation of colors by the Honor Guard. Honor Guard, advance. Honor Guard, please post the colors. Scout salute or enter the party. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Scout signs. Please join me in the Scout oath and law. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, morally straight. Law. Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2. You may be seated.
All right, thank you, Philip. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Luke Kolaski as the Master of Ceremonies for the ceremony today.
Thank you. Our theme this afternoon is Journey to Eagle. The pathway to Eagle can be described as a steep trail leading to the peak of Eagle rank. Along that trail are 6 steps, the ranks of scouting that you had to pass on the trail. James, it is fitting that you look back before you go onto other challenges to see what you have accomplished. These experiences should not be forgotten. You should benefit from them. Cherish the valuable ones and make sure the bad ones do not happen again. Remember your first trip along that steep trail? At first, you were called Scout by your troop. Do you remember when you received the Scout badge? You learned the fleur-de-lis shape was to resemble the mariner compass. Technical difficulties. You learned the fleur-de-lis shape was to resemble the mariner compass, as it always point you towards the true path, towards tonight. It had 3 points, which you learned, like the 3 fingers of the Scout sign, for the 3 points of the Scout oath. Remember when you took these first steps along the scouting trail? You began to build yourself physically, mentally, and morally by learning the Scout oath and law. Before you knew it, you were a tenderfoot Scout. Your Scout badge was replaced by the badge of a tenderfoot. It still pointed you in the right direction, but added were 2 stars, which represented the truth and knowledge you had gained in scouting. Also was the bald eagle, our national symbol. You learned from the shield that on the eagle's breast that the freedom of America is not without cost and that it must be defended. Soon, you set out for another ledge. There you were greeted by a larger group of second-class scouts. The second-class badge showed you a scroll with your motto, "Be prepared." Its ends were turned up in a smile, and that is what you were to do, as the bottom of the knot reminded you to do a good turn daily, which is the Scout slogan. You found that some second-class Scouts had been there for a long time and were content with their achievement. You continued onwards. You studied, and before you realized it, you had come to a new ledge, one where first-class Scouts dwelled. Your first class badge showed you that it was time to put everything you had learned thus far together. And this is what you did. You found the trail to first class had not been all that difficult. You wanted to learn more about scouting, so you continued onward, earning specific skills through merit badges. Your next step was to become a Star Scout. The Star Badge. A golden star was to symbolize your new role as a leader. You were called upon to be a guiding light in the darkness for those who were to follow. No longer were you receiving scouting, but now you were expected to teach new skills to others. Now, the trail was steeper. Leadership was challenging and also hard work. But you persevered, climbing the steep trail. Soon it led you to life rank. The badge of life, a pure red heart on a golden field, was to show all the world the path you had chosen. True to the ideals of scouting, you had gained an inner confidence that was to prepare you for the rest of your life. The trail became even tougher, but more interesting. You thought, now I am close to Eagle, I will carry on. Your peers and scouts have watched you as you have worked towards Eagle. We have watched your mind develop and your knowledge increase. We have seen you grow in many ways, and now that you are on the threshold of your goal, we welcome you, for you have done your climbing in a scout-like manner. Would the Eagle Scout escort please come forward with James? Oh wow, here he is. Will the Scoutmaster now please come forward? Chris Manring, as Scoutmaster of Troop 844, is it your judgment that James has fulfilled the requirements to become an Eagle and exemplifies the ideas of scouting?
I'm proud to say he has.
Could you now give us some of James's background?
Background is lengthy, to say the least. If you haven't already, call your attention to the second page, just to summarize here. But James has always been a leader, as long as I've known him. Not only did he complete all the Eagle requirements, the merit badges, the electives, his project was for a sensory cart at Metro Early College High School. He's always been involved in the community, and it seemed, the first thing I realized about James, honestly, was it was never enough when it came to leadership, whether it was NYLT, Order of the Arrow, very, very active in pretty much everything he could when it came to leadership and scouting. So he is a prime example of a scout, a great mentor for those below him. He already has taken on this role, not only as a scout, but as a young adult, well, an adult now, actually. Young man, as when I first met him, but the sash is full, just again, shows how active he really was and interested in scouts. It seems he lives and breathes by the scout oath and law. So, congratulations, James.
Thank you. James is also an active member of the Order of the Arrow. Matthew Evans, as chapter chief, would you please come forward and share some of James's involvement in the Order of the Arrow?
Hi everyone, I'm Matthew Evans, Chapter Chief of Cushatec Chapter and National Order of the Arrow Chief. That second part is a lie, but it felt pretty cool to say. So, who do I remember James as? Hardworking and diligent, and a pretty interesting character. I first met him during our merger and OA elections after our 2021 Fall Fellowship. This is where he was first elected the Chapter Chief of our newly formed Cushatec Chapter. What followed was a wonderful 2022. Within the confusion of scouting and the pandemic coupled with the district merger, I don't understand how James managed to really run all of it, but he did and was absolutely fantastic at it. Of course, the highlight of it comes all with the congregation of what we considered the immigrants at Kentucky at our Camp Royce C. Manchester summer camp, which I consider to be mainly an OA activity. Everyone's favorite Cushatec chapter chief meets summer camp in Kentucky, and I think that was the best summer I've had. Whether it be an escapade at a Walmart or even waking up in the morning, there was never a dull moment from the one and only James C. Reynolds. Now, waking up in the morning was a very interesting part of James. Imagine your captain mate wakes up, hits his head on the top bunk, and falls out of your bunk there. That's a normal day in a cabin with James Reynolds. Now imagine him falling out of a canoe during callouts. Luke, could you step forward, please? So after Luke fell out of the canoe during callouts, Luke here luckily saved him.
What?
Yeah, you saved him. Yeah, could we give a good thank you to Luke Koloski too? Now, after summer camp, we've had quite a handful of positive experiences. Including winning the Chiefs Award from Marnock Lodge 151, attending LLS, and becoming a part of the Gudetarian callouts, which was an experience at Camp Royce C. Manchester. And I hope to have plenty more of positive experiences with James here. Have a good day. That's it for me. Thank you.
James, I now ask you to repeat the Scout Oath, rededicating yourself to its principles.
On my honor, I will do my best, do my duty, to guide my country, to basic at law, to perfect law, times, to my focus, be strong, mentally, and always straight. Alright, Scout law. Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, and stubborn.
Overachiever.
Your conduct along the trail has been excellent. You have rededicated yourself to the principles of scouting. You have heard the law of the eagle. But one more thing is important: your future. Your conduct along the trail, as an eagle, you became a guide and light to other scouts below you. You became an example to your community. Remember that people expect more of you now. Do falter in your duties would not only reflect on you, but your fellow Eagle Scouts. The torch you carry is not only yours, but theirs. Would Thomas Dalchuk please come forward to give the Eagle charge?
This is not the end of the trail, but rather the beginning of a new era in your life. You are now entering a fraternity of boys and men, as well as girls and women, who have not only achieved the rank of Eagle Scout, but have made a commitment to the Scout Oath and law. You will always be an Eagle Scout and will be expected to conduct yourself accordingly. James Reynolds, I charge you to enter this Eagle Scout order. without reservation, the ideals of honor and service. Repeating the Eagle Scout promise before your fellow members, you will be sealing your eternal loyalty to the code of the Eagle Scout. Scout sign. Repeat the charge after me. I reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
I reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself
I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself
the obligations and responsibilities of the Eagle Scout.
Wait, what did you say?
The obligations and responsibilities
The obligations and responsibilities
of the Eagle Scout.
of the Eagle Scout.
On my honor, I will do my best
On my honor, I will do my best
to make my training an example,
to make my training an example.
my rank and my influence count strongly
My rank and my influence count strongly
for better scouting and for better citizenship. For better scouting
for better scouting
and for better citizenship
and for better citizenship
in my troop and in my community
in my troop and in my community
and in my contacts with other people.
and in my contacts with other people.
To this, I pledge my sacred honor.
To this, I pledge my sacred honor.
Now would all the Eagle Scouts please stand and join me in saying the oath with James. Scout sign. I reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of the Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to make my training an example. My rank and my influence count strongly for better scouting and for better citizenship. In my troop and in my community and in my contacts with other people. To this, I pledge my sacred honor. Two. Thank you. James, congratulations. I would now like to present to you the Eagle neckerchief. Thank you.
The Scoutmaster will now present the certificate. What James has accomplished is with your support and guidance. It is fitting that you present the Eagle Award to him. Now we will ask James to share a few words.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys all for coming. So this is quite the turnout. For all the avenues I have in scouting, I know it's kind of weird that I know like a lot of people here who don't know each other. It's a lot like a wedding in a way, but it's more than two families, and you guys are all here for me instead of like other people. So I'd like to first thank the venue for which we're in, which is the Delaware First Baptist Church. So we tried to reach out to a couple of our venues, and they didn't work out. And the church here was very happy and delighted to help hold this outing here, in celebration of my teenage years. So I remember when I first wanted to join Cub Scouts. We had just moved here from about 45 minutes north, up in Marion, Ohio. When we lived in Marion, I still went to school here in Delaware down the road. I didn't have a lot of socialization outside of school, and also especially in school because I lived 45 minutes away from everyone else, and commute times and everything. It's led to me being very introverted and shy. So I think I was at a Marion library with my grandpa Reynolds when I first saw a Boys Life magazine. I had a photo with a kid wearing his tan uniform and colorful green sash. And yeah, I wanted to join Scouts because I thought the uniform was cool. So I'd like to first have my grandparents come up here. All right. So for my grandparents that could make it, I have Eagle Scout grandparent pins for them. So you don't have a pin shirt.
You gave it to me with the needle sticker.
Thank you guys so much. And then when I did finally end up joining Cub Scouts in the 4th grade, I'd gone to a couple of different pack meetings before I officially joined, selling popcorn outside Walmarts and stuff. But I was still very shy. I was 10 years old, and frankly, Cub Scouts was not what I'd signed up for. I signed up to go camping and everything, not to do crafts at school, or swindling $30 door to door, which I did get pretty good at, I think. So I did end up making a friend in Cub Scouts, so I still talk to every day. Sometimes I drive him home from school every now and then. So this person was my first real friend in Scouts, and still involved. We ended up crossing over, and he'll be next to get Eagle. So this person told me he didn't want to be involved too much today with the ceremony or anything, so I thought I'd just get him out of the way. Alex Bell, if you could please come up, and thanks for being my buddy. One of these is for you. And then soon though we crossed over to Troop April 4 together. Now, as I would say, we were at the bottom of the food chain. So I joined Troop April 4 primarily because there was where a lot of the other Cub Scouts from PAC 490 had gone. And a couple other people were in the troop at the time, unfortunately were not very welcoming. They were rude and did not like that 11-year-olds would join the troop, ironically, despite them being only just a couple years out of that themselves. This person, however, was a very welcoming person in the troop. My parents always looked at this person and compared me to them as far as rank advancement and speed of that goes. And they have never felt the need to hold back the science facts and everything, especially when we were on the trail hiking 75 miles at Beaumont this past summer. They are now studying aerospace or something like that in college, so that's pretty cool. Thomas, if you could please come up. I would also like to consider you my first mentor. And now this next person, unfortunately, was not able to make it this afternoon, as now he lives in Virginia. This person was my first Scoutmaster, and he is still in my brain when I talk to all these Scoutmasters through OA and other scouting avenues, what a Scoutmaster looks like and acts like. He inspired me to first run for senior patrol leader and get more involved with troop leadership, be a little bit more outgoing. And as his time, after his time as Scoutmaster, he helped me with the staging parts of my Eagle Scout project. And our last troop outing happened to be at Philmont on the trail together, which was really a cool send-off. So I'd like to thank Mr. Ringley for always looking out for me and being my second mentor. So my scouting journey kind of took a weird turn in my fourth year. I decided I was going to diversify my extracurricular activities, so I decided to join the track and field team at Heights Middle School. So I was in 8th grade at this time. So I had quite a fun time at our practices. One Friday, though, it was actually my last practice. We had left all our phones in the locker rooms because we're running, we're not texting. And somehow rumors started swirling around the track. I was throwing a discus or something then, that we were going to have an extended spring break and that we'd all be back in 2 weeks. Those weeks turned into months and months of lockdown. And I fell down a dark path of laziness and lack of caring for scouts and the troop. After that, we went to the Summit Bechtel Reserve in July or so of 2020, and I kind of rekindled my enjoyment for scouting. And our tour guide I got to meet later on, which was pretty cool. We'll get to that part. And after that, the troop started going on campouts again and getting more involved in person. So I decided I was going to apply to work at Camp Manitowoc, which is where we had gone a couple years before for summer camp. It was my favorite summer camp that we had gone to. We always hopped around. And I do not regret that one bit. It's kind of hard to explain when something, when you're talking to someone on the outside of an organization or something, that you explain to them the bad things, but then you still say, yeah, you should totally do it. I met a lot of people from different troops and backgrounds and learned about the different extracurricular opportunities beyond the troop level in scouting. One person, in fact, I can credit for my involvement within the Order of the Arrow. This person probably got annoyed the whole summer with my dumb questions, and now we're meeting up at basically every other scouting function. They also got me to seal my membership by doing my brotherhood. Luke, if you could please come up. Awesome. Here's your Thank you. All right. All right. And then after that, this person we started working before the summer of 2021. We were planning on going on a big backpacking trip, the aforementioned Philmont trek, which took quite a bit of planning and struggling with me and Alex and Thomas and everyone. They went to Philmont when they were little, and they also happened to have their Court of Honor, like what we're at now, on top of Mount Baldy, which is one of the mountains at Philmont. And they also, after Philmont, they helped me with the latter stages of my Eagle Scout project and my little switcheroo from swimming to hiking as well. Mr. Caldwell, if you could please come up. And then, unfortunately, I was not able to return to Manitowoc last summer after the fun I had in 2021. And I kind of had nowhere to go. I was going to have to be stuck at home playing video games, boring stuff like that. And I just wasn't interested in doing that. So this place was able to take me in for summer for 4 weeks, I don't remember. It went by like 5 minutes. I'd like to thank Camp Royce Manchester for hosting me this past summer in my chicanery. Yeah. All right. And now for my little my other things. So this person has been with me these people have been with me the whole way along my scouting journey. Before that, a couple of years before that, they've been with me. I've known them since I was little. So if I could call up my parents. And next, some little challenges, if you will. The first person I'd like to challenge on the next way to Eagle, on the trail to Eagle. This person I've known for a while. He was in Cub Scouts with me, and when he crossed the bridge back in 2019, I think, we knew he was different from the rest. He was teaching knots on his second camp out. Now he's a life scout working on his Eagle. I think he could just use a little boost. So Blake, if you could please come up. And then this next person also joined around the same time as Blake, and he was learning knots from Blake on his first camp out. I've really watched this person mature over the past couple of years. He's now starting to get active in troop leadership more so. And I'm really starting to see that he cares about the troop and the program. So if I could have Daniel Miner please come up. That's it.
I would now like to once again invite James's grandparents, Craig and Linda Reynolds and Carolyn Jones, to come forward to say a few words.
All right. Well, we are really proud of our grandson, James, and I've helped him along the way because he has kept my sewing machine busy, sewing on all of these things. And about the time I get one on, he says, no, I've earned something else. That one has to come off. I have to put that one on. So I've been part of this and knowing where he's going. And we're just so proud of him as a scout and as a young man. And I was reminded when I was looking at his patch for the Eagle Scout that in Isaiah chapter 40, this is part of verse 31, it says, they that trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will rise up on wings and soar like eagles. And so I want you to know that if you trust God, follow in his footsteps, and be prepared, you will soar. And we're looking forward to James soaring. I forgot I have something else I sewed for James. Do you remember all those t-shirts you guys get? There you go.
I don't know if I can top that, but, you know, in one's life, I imagine as you go through life, you accumulate several awards or honors. If you're lucky, you could probably count them on one hand. That meaningful awards. I can't think of anything like an Eagle Scout award being earned by him. Anyways, it brings back memories. While they're saying the Scout Pledge, it talks about trustworthiness, kindness, honor, and so on. Just brings back memories because those words at one time was expressed to me, not in a scouting venue, but as I was working initially as at B.F. Goodrich in Miami, Oklahoma. They had an off-the-road tire plant, made great big tire plants, and I was an engineer. But I was promoted to manager of maintenance at the ripe old age of 29, and working in a union environment is almost like being a Republican or a Democrat today. You took opposite sides. One was for, one was against. It was just automatic. But anyways, they initiated me by telling me how great I was, how trustworthy, now this is the union, how trustworthy, honorable, and so on that I am. And I took those words at heart, and I just heard them again. Basically, back then, you're talking about a plant that had 13 variations of the Indian race. Miami had 13 tribes still around the area. And they gave me something that's probably only meaningful to me that I'm going to pass on to my grandson. Was made by one of the maintenance workers, a machinist. He had a company called Cherokee Buckle Company. And it's a belt buckle they gave me, and it has a picture of an eagle in the belt buckle. I wore this for about 10 years. It was priceless to me. And anyways, I'm passing it on to my grandson. I'm so proud of him.
My name's Carolyn Jones. I'm Catherine. I'm Craig's maternal grandmother, and I'm the family self-appointed family historian. And my husband was James Earl Jones, and that's where he got the James, and from his grandfather. And his grandfather would have been so proud to be here today, and he loved this boy, and we do too. And being the family historian, I do scrapbooking, and I made these little scrapbooks for James, and they're just loaded with pictures of the different stages of him growing up in Scouts, and they just kind of collapse up. Hope this works. And made a couple of them because he had so many, and I could have had a lot more, but I made these for James, so thank you.
I will now ask James's father, Michael Reynolds, to come forward to say a few words.
This is a proud moment for our family. It's going to be hard for me not to be emotional. Your grandfather Earl, Papa Earl, would have enjoyed being here, and I believe, James, that you got your zest for exploration from your grandfather. And your grandmother Carolyn, she has taught us involvement and documentation, and she does it better than anybody. And your grandpa Craig, entrepreneurship and faith, he has taught our family. And you, and Grandma Linda, before you could possibly remember, she was involved with your physical development and as your encourager. And our admiration and esteem for you as a family knows no boundaries, and we're so grateful. And we are joined by your fellow Scouts and Scout leaders, and I would ask all Scout and Scout leaders from 7844 and from 844 if you would just stand, past and present. These have been your example, and you've been example to them. Thank you. You may be seated. So as mentioned, Scoutmaster Ringley, who was the Scoutmaster when you began in the troop, is not here. He's relocated to Virginia and could not make it. But I wanted to read a note that he sent last night. I'm so proud of you for attaining the rank of Eagle. I so wish I could be there in person to celebrate your accomplishment. I remember the first field days campouts you attended at Madison Lake with the troop. You had so much fun learning about fire building and knife and axe safety. When the sun started settling, the temperature dropped. You were shivering in short sleeves and shorts, but you were bound and determined not to put on a sweatshirt. We finally had to make you put one on before you froze that evening. We had great memories during summer camps, bushwhack hikes, sea base, Philmont, and so many other campouts. Hang on to those memories and the lessons you've learned along the way. It's been amazing to watch you mature from that shivering new Scout into the leader that you've become the past few years. I love to see you working with younger scouts and helping them along their path towards Eagle. Never stop learning and leading. And he leaves you with a Bible verse that has already been quoted, but I will read it again as he includes it. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths shall grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Isaiah 40:29 through 31. So as you venture into the future, James, we pray that you'll take the lessons that your scout leaders have and other scouts have provided for you, and that you would be a continuing mentor for others. Thank you.
Will Philip now please lead us in the closing ceremony? And one last time, can we get a congratulations for James again?
Audience rise. Color guard, please retire the colors. Scout hand salute or hand over heart. Two. Color guard dismissed, audience at ease. This concludes our ceremony. Thank you for coming. We hope that you will join us for some refreshments. The reception is downstairs, and there is a photo we hope each of you will sign. Thank you.
Thanks again all for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, had a little more. What about spice? 27 grams of carbs. 8%.
So much like you. Like I know it, and I think great on our trip. At lunchtime, we should be able to grab